In ancient times, under the scorching Egyptian sun, stood the figure of Moses, a Hebrew raised in the bosom of Pharaoh's court. One afternoon, while tending his father-in-law's flock in the desert, he came across a burning bush from which emanated the voice of God himself. God entrusted him with the task of freeing his people from Egyptian oppression. Moses, accompanied by his brother Aaron, had a mission as formidable as it was dangerous. With the divine command clear in his heart, Moses appeared before Pharaoh, demanding the release of the children of Israel. However, Pharaoh was a stubborn man and refused time and again. In response, God unleashed a series of plagues upon Egypt, each one more devastating than the last, to soften the monarch's heart and demonstrate his power. The first plague turned the waters of the Nile into blood. This caused suffering throughout the country. However, the Pharaoh stood his ground. The second plague brought an invasion of frogs that covered the land, but the Pharaoh remained steadfast. This was followed by the third plague of lice, and the fourth, of flies, wreaking havoc on Egypt. Even so, the Pharaoh did not capitulate. The fifth plague attacked the livestock with a terrible pestilence, while the sixth unleashed boils on Egyptians and animals. When the Pharaoh persisted in his refusal, the seventh plague brought hail that devastated the crops. The eighth, a swarm of locusts that devoured what little remained, was followed by the ninth plague, a palpable darkness that hung over Egypt for 3 days. Surprisingly, as his empire crumbled, the Pharaoh still did not yield. Finally, the 10th and final plague announced by Moses was the most feared, the death of the Egyptian firstborn. The cry of lamentation rose from every home in Egypt, breaking even Pharaoh's defiant spirit. Only then did he allow the Israelites to leave. With a mixture of sadness and hope, Moses led his people out of slavery and into the Promised Land. Through the Red Sea, followed by a new life, the Israelites left behind the terrible plagues that had been necessary to obtain their freedom. Thus, the story of Moses became established as an example of the power of faith and obedience to God's will.